WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, you gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime! It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
I wouldn't limit here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first, they'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up, she's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the mini adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinga.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you. Feedback. Oh, yes. Even though it's not as hot as it was a few months ago, we are hot. Thank you so much for tuning in to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host,
Thabiti, and we welcome you to the program.
Thank you so much. You know, we always like to say good morning, happy Monday, give a shout out. There's so many of you, and I just really am happy that we are having a little more opportunity to meet people because, as you know, last year everything was locked down, Thabiti. So it's easing a bit, and people are paying more attention to wearing their masks, washing their hands, staying a distance, etc. So that's a good thing. And there are restaurants, more and more restaurants, in addition to Bert, who has been doing this for decades, having their patios set up, and you can sit outside and still enjoy one another. And the research had its, caravan. And that's always a safe way to go through the community because you're in your own vehicle. And that's always safe. You know, today is the day before November the 2nd, which is Election Day. And you know, Thabiti, we want to share information with people. And I'm really glad that you were able to bring your ballot with you, because then you don't have to worry about somebody saying, well, that's not what it says. Well, that's what it is. The wording for the proposals are right on the ballot. And there's one other thing. You know, this past August, we had the primary. And the primary election is for the community to review information on various candidates, talk to various candidates, and make the final choice after you, as some people say, vet the candidates and select the one of your choice to be on the ballot in November. When you talk about getting information on people, you talk about debates between candidates. That is the time it should take place, not when we have the final selections and the candidates on the ballot for November. We do have some areas where there are no candidates, or there may be one as opposed to the customary number of 2 per seat. And there are those who want to be write-in candidates. However, the November election and the ballot that you have is not the time to be running around trying to talk about you want to debate challengers. If you want to debate somebody, debate the incumbents. Of course, people don't want to do that. Anyway, Thabiti, you have 3 proposals. And does it show that there's a proposal on the back of the ballot?
Yes. And I want everyone, I'm just going to show you here, as you can see here on the camera, we've got all of the questions on the front with 2 proposals. And then when you flip it over, you see that there's one additional proposal, which is Proposal S, an amendment to the city charter on the back. So don't in error just fill out the front and fail to do the back. And one of the other things I want to say is there are only 8 things that you have to vote on here. So it's not going to take it's not going to take a day and a half to get it done. You got 8 items that you have to make a decision on. Also, it's just having that 8, again, you can, if you haven't, I would say go in and vote in person, but you can still pick up a absentee ballot. But you'll have to take it. I would suggest, and Theo, I asked her yesterday, so I go along with someone I respected. No, take it to the Detroit City Election Commission office, and Theo, you can give them the details about its exact location.
Right. The election office is on West Grand Boulevard, diagonally across from the Fisher Building. And I always mention the Fisher Building is because it's one of the largest landmarks in the city. Not hard to find at all. So that would be the place to take it. The election commission office is where all of the ballots are going to be gathered prior to them being taken down to the TCF Center, which is formerly Cobo Hall. And do not, I repeat, do not give your ballot to the mailman. Do not put your ballot in a mailbox. It will not get there by tomorrow. Tomorrow is election day. And you know, Thabiti, even the Postmaster General, for whatever crazy reason, it has stated that the mail is going to be slowed on purpose. It's going to be 5 days later than normal. In addition to that crazy action, the United States Post Office is no longer going to send mail to Australia. Go figure. Australia.
They got a problem with them. They don't like
Australia's
them anymore.
They don't love them anymore. Right? Australia is not an enemy of the United States. At least no place that I've read. But they're gonna discontinue mail to Australia. Go figure. Anyway, we have 3 ballot questions, and can we read the 3 ballot questions?
Okay. This is the proposal section of the ballot for the city of Detroit. Proposal R, reparations task force. Should the Detroit City Council establish a reparations task force to make recommendations for housing and economic development programs that address historical discrimination against the black community in Detroit? You can vote yes or no.
Well, my recommendation is yes. There are other cities in this country that have taken up the issue of reparations. As I guess almost everybody who is tuned in this morning is aware, Congressman John Conyers, for about 40 years, would introduce his reparations bill, and it was called H.R. 40, H.R. for the House of Representatives. And each time he would introduce it, it would just be ignored, end up being ignored. For decades he did this over and over and over again. He left Congress in 2017, I believe, and on January the 3rd of 2019, Congressmember Sheila Jackson Lee introduced the bill. Congress set up a hearing date. I think the date was the 13th. It was in June 13th of the year 2019, 2 years after John Conyers stepped away from Congress. And Congress had the hearing, same thing. It was just stonewalled once again. So now that there have been cities throughout the United States who are recognizing that the members of Congress really don't give a crap whether we get reparations, even though there have been many others who have received reparations. And these other cities are beginning to bring it up. And perhaps this will serve to put pressure on the members of Congress. So my recommendation and encouragement is vote yes for reparations.
Okay, we'll go to Proposal E, which is for entheogenic plants. Shall the voters of the city of Detroit adopt an ordinance to the 2019 Detroit City Code that would decriminalize to the fullest extent permitted under Michigan law the personal possession and therapeutic use of entheogenic plants by adults, and make the personal possession and therapeutic use of entheogenic plants by adults the city's lowest law enforcement priority? You can vote yes or no on that. And I'll just throw in quickly, because I didn't know what entheogenic meant, but I did see that I guess what they call magic mushrooms are part of that. And I'm not sure what other things may be included, but would you vote yes or no on entheogenic plants?
Well, the very last sentence I find important to that, making it a lower priority for the police department. Now, those substances are still on the list in Washington, D.C., along with marijuana. But what seems to happen is when the police officers are trying to fill the jails so that these corporations can make more money off of our people, the issue of anything they can find to arrest you for. And we have been reported as being the second city to have the worst crime rate in the United States. And if this is reduced, then they can maybe find some of the people who are committing murder and other more heinous crimes. There are those who say, oh, you're trying to legalize more drugs. No, it didn't say they wanted to legalize the drugs. It just said they wanted to be a lower priority on the list that the police use when they're trying to find people to arrest. And you know, the BD, sometimes I've heard that if an officer is out and his radio goes off that there's a shooting on X Street, he'll try and find something else to do so that he won't go to X Street to get involved in the shooting. But it makes you wonder why there was a candidate who said he wanted to protect the police. And I'm like, protect the police? They know what they sign up for when they join the police department in Detroit. And for a candidate to be concerned about protecting the police as opposed to be concerned about protecting the residents has me very concerned about whether or not that person should be voted into office. Okay, so I say vote yes on proposal E.
Now our third in the proposal section is proposal S, amendment to city charter. Do you agree to amend a provision of the City of Detroit Charter to amend section 12-101 of the charter that restricts power from the voters to enact city ordinances for the appropriation of money? The amended section shall read, the voters of the city reserve the power to enact city ordinances called the initiative and the power to nullify ordinances enacted by the city called the referendum. However, these powers do not extend to the budget, and the referendum power does not extend to any emergency ordinance. The initiative and the referendum may be invoked by petition as provided in this chapter. Vote yes or no. Proposal S.
Well, I recommend that people vote yes on proposal S as well. And I think it's kind of slick to put it on the back of the ballot so that people won't even turn over and realize that they didn't vote on that. But in checking, I think it's on page 38 of the city charter where you can read that. There are supposedly 10 other cities in the state of Michigan who restrict the voters from having any influence or power over the tax dollars that they pay. Now imagine that. They don't want you to have an opportunity to say how your tax dollars can be spent. Now, as it reads, that does not extend itself to the city's budget. And the budget year for the city of Detroit starts July the 1st. We go from July 1st to June 30th. In the meantime, you have the power to say yea or nay when you vote yes on this proposal for how some monies can be and should be spent for the benefit of the community, and not only be just overwhelmed with all these contracts that are given to people who don't live in the city of Detroit. Some of them have a little telephone booth for an office that say, oh yeah, my business is in Detroit. Yeah, right. But with proposal S, that gives you some power and influence. And you've got to know your vote does count. The only time it doesn't count is when you don't cast your vote. And we want to have a landslide tomorrow by 8 p.m. because that's how important it is. The vote in the city of Detroit, the election in the city of Detroit should be held as important as a presidential election. And you know how people turned out for the presidential election. Just pretend that tomorrow is a presidential election day until 8 p.m. Call somebody to go with you and then go to lunch or go to breakfast and then go vote, or go vote and go to dinner. But just make it a nice, enjoyable day and know that you have carried out your right and your responsibilities.
And I would add, I was talking with Theo yesterday evening, and she wanted me to repeat this thought that I had, which simply was that we vote in presidential elections, but the president has nothing to do with the roads in your city. They have nothing to do with the police in your city or anything. So we emphasize, or we tend to vote presidential, but we don't realize, as has been said here many times, all politics is local. So we have to vote for those local individuals, politicians, representatives, senators, city council, mayors, etc., police commissioners, because that directly affects us. So maybe it's nice and glamorous and there's a lot of big budget money and everything spent for presidential elections. But the most important election is the one that's at home, because these are the people first that you pay your taxes to. So they have control over the budget and how your money is being spent. The man in the White House doesn't. He doesn't even know, and I don't think he cares either, what happens in your particular community, your particular township. So it's important for you to vote in these elections, and all of these things will affect you whether you vote or not. So the most important thing is for you to vote, because it expresses to the politicians how you feel. So again, I emphasize presidential politics are important, but the ones that are the most important are the local ones, and this is what we need you to get out for.
That's right. Now we are about a minute or two from the bottom of the hour, and we're going to take a break. And I thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you want to call in, the number is 313-868-4336. Again, 868-4336 or 868-0351. And we will be back momentarily.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
This is Theo Broden from Feedback. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody, settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, there gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime! It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Womack here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew.
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.gov. This is Bruce Simpson.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback. We are back. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. And you know, I just say good morning to Vera and Rosa and Ron, and we have our guest with us now, Miss Kimberly. As some of you may know, she's been with us before, so she's an old pro now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Miss Kimberly.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, see, listen. Oh, yes. Tell us what has been going on in your world since the last time you were here with us.
Well, since I've went back to in-person school, it's better than being at home because I'll be active at school, more active than I was at home. And I've made more friends than I did in virtual.
Oh, okay. Now, tell me about the curriculum in your school. What kinds of classes are you enjoying now?
Well, I am enjoying social studies. I am enjoying English because those are the easiest classes. But the hardest class for me personally is our math class.
Oh, well, which level of math are you taking now?
Algebra.
Oh, yes. I think most people say that algebra is challenging and definitely more challenging than geometry. Now, in your social studies class, do you have a lot of emphasis on government or elections or
Yes.
in that area?
Yes, we do. We do have a lot of government in our social studies where we're learning about government.
Now, when you have those classes and we have an election taking place, does your instructor invite you to investigate? Another word for that is a vet. Those who are campaigning and want your vote and how the area is divided up. Do you have what they call mock elections?
No, but we did have it in 6th grade.
Oh, ooh. Excuse me, she had it in 6th grade. Okay. I think that's great, because when you start early in school, it encourages you to participate. When I would go to vote, my husband and I, we would take our children with us. And they've had different types of voting apparatus. And then sometimes you could let them, touch it. A long time ago, they had these machines and you just pull down a lever. They like doing that, And then as time goes on, they get into the habit of voting. Are you looking forward to getting to the age of voting so that you can make your own decisions about who you want to represent you?
Yes, I am looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Now, this particular election, did your teacher emphasize any, particular aspect of the election?
No.
Oh, okay.
Now, I did want her, and you can address this, Kimberly. When I go to vote with my mom, because we're in the same voting precinct and district, Kim has accompanied us at least 2 to 3 times. So she's actually had a chance to see how the process goes. Go to the first desk, let them verify who you are as a voter. And then research and make sure that the information is correct, that you're in the right district and precinct, which I want to say to all of you who are listening as well, that this is very important also, because there's a lot of things that we know, but many of us don't know what district we're in. We don't know what city council person represents us. And again, I say that the local elections are important, so you need to know who you can go and talk to when you have an issue. Now, I agree with Theo that in the past we had access to all 9 representatives. They represented the city. Now they've carved it up like a pie, so you can only go to this slice of pie and say, I've got a concern. And he or she would address that. But yes, Kimberly has accompanied us, so she is familiar with the process. And now that, well, I guess since we got absentee voting, which probably the next time around, I myself am going to go vote in person, because even though I feel comfortable with the absentee voter ballot, we have had people in the past indicate that there could be a little, what should I call it, hanky-panky going on with some of it. So we don't want to take that chance. But did you, I'm asking you now, Kim, did you, when you went with your great-grandmother and your grandfather, I'm giving my age away, what was your feeling about going with us? Now, this has been about 3 years ago now.
I felt good because I was around other people, seeing them physically vote. And yeah.
That's good.
And one day, no doubt I will be taking you, because she just became a teenager. Let me share that as well. So she's getting close to the age of voting.
Right.
Yeah, just turned teenager last month. So she's approaching that, and being in Theo's company and my company will. And that's another thing. Let me emphasize. Okay, I try to, as much as I can, involve my granddaughter, as I did my children. And as you said with your children, Theo, involve them in these activities that you're part of, so that way they can, I guess what they call vicariously, get the experience. And then when the time comes, they're not going to be so lost when it's their turn to be engaged in that experience. So those of you who have nephews, nieces, grandchildren, etc., make sure that you involve them, because they are young adults who will become adults, and we don't want to put them out there in the world where they're not familiar with things and ask them. It's like throwing them in the water and say, look, you got to learn how to swim right here, right now. We want to prepare or prep them for what they will be engaged in the future. And if you do it when they're early, then you don't have to worry about whether they'll participate when they get older. But if you let it go, then and I always say this to people as well, and I'm not, I digress somewhat by saying the same thing with your children when it comes to chores. Don't wait till they're 13, 14, 15 and start telling them to mow the grass or take out the trash or something, because there'll be some resistance. But if you start them when they're 4, 5, 6 years old, when they're less likely to be resistant, then that will have set a foundation for them when they get older. So yeah, make sure that you engage your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews as much as possible.
Yeah, that is so true. And you know, sometimes when you have an opportunity to meet a candidate, you can maybe decide that you want to volunteer and work on a campaign and learn about the process of running for an office. And if that's something that you, at this time, you say, well, I think I'd like to be a city council member, or a member of the police commission, or some other office. You start out there, and think about being a precinct delegate. Precinct delegate has the opportunity to talk about the election, the ballot questions, the candidates who are running for office, and you have that responsibility to share the information in your community. And some of the things, when you volunteer with a candidate, you may stuff envelopes. They want to have a mailing sent out, and you may do that. Or you may, what they do, drop literature, which means to deliver it. You're a mail lady. That's what you are. and you learn some of the initial things that go along with campaigning.
And I was just going to say, it took me a while, but I became this is going back to the 70s, so some of you will remember a Senator Regal who was running for the state of Michigan. Mm-hmm. And as part of a political science class, I was part of his campaign, and it gave me a lot of experience. And I would add that the teacher who had us engaged in that was the late Senator Carl Levin. He taught a class at University of Detroit. At that time, it was called urban planning, and that's why I ended up getting involved in politics to the extent that I did, having his class, him being a national, as many of you know, senator at the time. He got us engaged in the campaign for Senator Regal. So engagement is important. Now, I wanted to ask Kimberly, this is something a little bit different, but along the same line of developing our youth. You were, and I want you to explain it to me because I remember it somewhat, but you were like part of finance or something at school. Yeah, well, tell us what that class was about and what position you had.
Well, in that financial class we took, well, technically we didn't take it, but we signed up for it. Mm-hmm. So in that class, they told us, like, there are different positions. One position was for computer, and the person who did computer had to type on the computer the person's address and send them different different mail for what they owe and what they want to deposit and stuff like that. And my position was to put up posters around the school saying you should come to this place because you can keep your money here. And another position I can say that was a really good position was the money manager. Mm-hmm. Those two people, they were able to keep the people's money safe, and the children who would come to the children who would come to the financial place, they would deposit their money to the managers, and then the managers would put their money in safe places as they deposit on and on through the days.
Now that sounds like you had a bank or credit union set up in the school. Yes. To get you familiar with, as they call it, financial literacy, teaching you what you need to know about saving. It's good to start there. And we have at Hood Research and our community organization have adopted some school children. There's about a little less than 200 of them. But we've been talking about that and having a bank come into the school, say once a month or whenever their time would allow. And each of the children would have an opportunity to open a Christmas savings account and make a deposit on a regular basis. Then at the end of the year, they have an opportunity to get some or all of it back and buy whatever was on their Christmas list. And this gives them a great experience about knowing what goes on when you go to a bank. And of course, there are many more things in addition to just having a savings account. But that, I think, is an excellent place to start. So have you opened an account?
Not yet, but when I get the chance to, I will.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear about that.
Yeah, we've discussed it, her mom and myself and a few others, but you know, we have to kind of take the lead since we're the adults. We're going to be dealing with them becoming part of an adult institution. But I think it's important. And one of the things I want to say in addition to that, and this is to all of you who are listening, and by the way, you see the numbers at the bottom of the screen. I would ask you to add that to your list of contacts so that you can always call any of the shows here at WHPR TV. But one of the things I want to say also, and I've done this with my granddaughter a few times, and I will continue, which is give them, first make sure that they understand math well enough, adding, subtracting, so that when you take them to the store, let them get in line before you. They may have little purchases. You may go to one of the little dollar stores or wherever it may be. Let them have money so that way when they go to the cash register, they can figure out how much they're spending on whatever they're spending it on. And then the next step would be to help them understand how much change they're supposed to get. So this is where the addition and subtraction comes in. I think it's very important because when we speak about financial literacy, one of the things that we want to do, I mean, even adults, I see adults will take money from the cash, the whoever runs the register, the clerk, let's just say, and they don't count their money to see if they got the correct change. They just take the money, put it in their pocket. I've always emphasized to her, count your money. Generally, what I can do, and I enjoy doing it anyway, is I'll add up my purchases, round them off to a figure, so when I get to the cash register, I might be off by a few pennies, but I'm not off by a few dollars. So that way, if you get the incorrect change, you can quickly address that. But I don't think too many of us deal with trying to teach our children how to handle money, because I've seen too many times, and I've had to check some of the people at the registers where a child will come in, they tell them, well, it's so and so much money for these M&Ms, and the child wouldn't know any difference, and they just keep the change. So I think it's very important that we make it a point ourselves to teach them these things.
Right.
I mean, you can deal with Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and all that mess later, but that's not going to help you function in the world. It's primarily entertainment, and we can be entertained anytime, but to function in this society, you have to have certain skills. So I say this to the adults as well as those who would guide our youth, is to make sure that the things that you know in your interactions are the things that you share with them as well, because too often we'll be cheated. They'll cheat you out of a penny or 2 pennies if they can, and 100 customers a day, that's $1, and if they got more customers, that's more money.
Well, that's right. Absolutely. And sadly, I have observed that in some of these neighborhood stores, there will be a shoebox or a waste can sitting near the cash register, and they just drop the extra change that they keep there and count it at the end of the day. And it doesn't seem to matter whether or not they are taking advantage of a little child or an adult, and whoever they can get away with it.
And I've made it a point, and my granddaughter can verify this, that sometimes I'll say, well, I'm supposed to get 68 cents change back, and they may give me 65, and I'll ask the person, I was like, what, y'all short 3 pennies or something like that? And obviously you wouldn't let me be short 3 pennies. The register can't come up short, but I can come up short. And they say, oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I don't know how sorry you are, but I want my money.
I know that's right. And it's sad that people don't seem to comprehend that change adds up. And I think I've shared this story before, but I encouraged my children when they were telling me, Mama, I found, a quarter on the ground, or I found 3 pennies on the ground. And I'm like, what? And they would say it every so often. And I thought, that's really weird. Why is all this change on the ground? And it just appears that some people don't think change is important. So I said, well, I tell you what, I want each of you to get a container, a shoebox, a jar, waste can, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, and put it in the back of your closet. And each day that you are out and you find some money on the ground, pick it up. Don't ever step over change. So they did, and they brought the little change home and dropped it in their containers. And the end of the school year, I said, okay, the subject, would come up. I said, well, now it's time for you to count and see how much you accumulated just by putting this few little pennies or this nickel or this whatever it is into the container. It wouldn't have been the same had they spent each, item as they gotten it. It wouldn't have made the same point. Well, yes, let's hear what the caller has to say.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning. My name is Shira, and I'm watching you on the Internet.
Oh, thank you.
I've been in touch with you, Theo, trying to get you guys to connect with the Coalition for Property Tax Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm calling to find out, have you ever reached out to them? Have you contacted them because you wanted to see them on your, so they could share this information about the taxes?
Oh, yeah.
Taxes?
Right. And I was interested in having someone on with us to talk about the issue. We meet on Saturdays as well, and you're invited to an afternoon with Hood Research each Saturday between the hours of 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. Do you have a website, a name, or phone number to share with us now?
Well, I'm not a member, but they're on Facebook under Coalition for Property Tax Justice. They have all kinds of Zoom calls. They just had a report card that they put out, and I'm sorry I didn't call you before now, where you can find out where your city council member stands on this. Even those who are running for the city council seats, they're on the report card as well, and I wish I had a call before now so people would know how to vote. But they say it's over $600 million that the city of Detroit has stolen from the people.
That's correct.
Property. Yes, and they're very informative. They have attorneys and all kind of professional people that are involved.
Oh, okay.
I really wish that the two of you could make contact some kind of way.
Would you, if you will, repeat slowly the name on Facebook that I might be able to? Okay.
Okay. It's the Coalition for Property Tax Justice. That's their Facebook page. Please try and get that.
Justice. Okay.
They're working really hard.
Right. Yes.
I had no idea it was that much money. I think that's between the year of 2011 and 16.
Did you check your address with them? Did they tell you how much you had been over?
Oh, yeah, I had mine pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down and went to court and had my taxes cut in half, but they still owe me, according to their own tally, $6,000-something.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I have another friend who was overcharged in that neighborhood of $6,000 as well. Mine was not quite as high as that, but I, too, was overcharged. And that's another reason why Proposal R and Proposal S are beneficial to us. And this $600 million was just ignored by the mayor. He said, yeah, okay, I know about it. I spent it. So, it's like, so what are you going to do about it? Now, this was on national TV.
What about the people who lost their homes because they were overtaxed? And they probably, many of them could have kept their homes if they had not overtaxed them. So all that's on the table with these people. People need to pay attention, need to listen,
Sister, one other thing. Would you repeat your name again, just so?
I'm Shara.
Shara, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I call and talk to you every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But please try and contact these people because you would be a benefit to one another, each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would be good to have them on here and on the
Exactly.
other
Right.
programs that we do as well. Sure, I'd be glad to do that. And then for financial literacy for everyone in the community, not just Kimberly, who's a new teenager. Ooh. but everyone can benefit from that kind of information. Mm.
Okay, well, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
And again, this is another reason why you should be voting, because the $600 million was something that was for the residents of the city of Detroit who lost it, and as Shara said, lost their properties as well. Now, without any remorse at all from the mayor of the city of Detroit, and I would add some of the city council members as well. Nobody showed any kind of concern or anything about it. Nobody's been very vocal about it at all. It's just, I hate to use this phrase, but they sometimes say business as usual. But the business is that we're on the short end of the stick when it comes to this. So there are multiple reasons to vote. And again, local is everything because you live in a local thing. You don't live in D.C., which even the president has no authority over D.C. itself. He's looking at 50 states and whatever territories, American Samoa, Puerto Rico, or whatever. He's dealing with the massive thing on the macro level. We have to deal with things on the micro level, which is where we're at. So the $600 million, which you were shorted, all of us were shorted, we need to address them. And let me just say this again, because we've heard this phrase before. We don't work for the politicians work for us. Mm-hmm. So we have to make sure that they're doing the job that we employed them for. Now, if they're not going to do their job as with any other business, then they need to be unemployed. It's just as simple as that. If you can't do the job, then I have to replace you with somebody. If you're not a good accountant, electrician, teacher, whatever it is, then you don't serve my business any purpose. So therefore, you just need to move on to something that you may be more qualified for. Again, voting is everything, and that is your voice. And if you don't vote, then nobody can hear you because it's silent.
That's true, yeah. Now, Kimberly, as you taking various classes in school, are you coming to the, realization that you would be benefiting yourself if you started picking a career?
Yes.
Any choice? What are you interested in?
Well, I like to write.
Mm-hmm.
I do write really good stories.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember saying it last time I was on here.
Mm-hmm.
I do like writing stories, and I do like hockey and not volleyball, football actually.
You like football and you like hockey.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, listen. She likes hockey. Boy, I tell you. You know, we have a recreation center on Linden and, what is that street? Linden and Myers, I believe it is.
Yes.
And they have a youth team, and I think it's predominantly African-American students who practice hockey at that recreation centers. And it's called, we have two Butzels, but there's a Butzel on the east side, and then the Butzel that's on Linden and Myers. I don't know how that
Butzel
happened.
Adams.
Butzel Adams is now, okay. Butzel Adams Center on Linden and Myers. And that's where this team, well, they used to practice. I haven't heard since the coronavirus started, whether they had to discontinue it. But we have hockey players, young black hockey players. I was surprised. But you ever think about playing football?
Well, I thought about it because at first I didn't know that girls can play football until one of my classmates mentioned it while I was in class, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And one of the things I think that may have encouraged her as well, and you can elaborate on it, Kimberly, is I believe Mr. Motley is the teacher for, was that statistics? Okay, you can share with her how he wanted, I think he wanted them, but I want you to tell us in the audience that I guess he was trying to teach them statistics, so they had to kind of follow football. But go ahead and say what you can about that.
Well, our teacher, Mr. Motley, he had taught us how to add up quarterback, runner back, wide receivers, and tight ends. He taught us how to add up all of those, so then when we get older, if we want to bet on sports, then we can know how to do it the right way and maybe win some money.
Yeah. So yeah, they get the statistics, who's the better running back and those kind of things, right? And then what you could tell her that because and by the way, we're going to be going to break in 1 minute. So again, you all can write down the numbers at the bottom of the screen and like share, call us and share your information. But just briefly, tell us about how some of the things you've learned about football because of Mr. Motley.
I have learned that it's easy to do quarterback, but it's kind of harder to do like wide receivers because you have to add more stuff and subtract more stuff than you're adding. So I've came to the likings of football because I've learned about football through the weeks we've been in school, which is I also like doing in person because I'll understand it more and be able to ask more questions.
Oh, okay. So you understand the scoring system and all of that?
Yes.
Oh, see, that's wonderful.
Now we're approaching the top of the hour in 60 seconds or less. So as Theo would say, get your coffee, take this little brief break. And as I've said, we didn't say at the top of the show, call friends, relatives, neighbors, acquaintances, church members, whatever, and have them tune in also. And we'll look forward to you being a part of the conversation on the other side of the break.
Right. We'll be back momentarily.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
This is Theo Broden from Feedback. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody, settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, you gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime! It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Wallman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. and it keeps me safe from the
Chew!
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.gov. This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman.
I've always been a runner, but I've never run from anything, and neither has my city.
Do you want to be a Detroit police officer?
Sir, yes, sir! Amen!
It's something special to protect the people closest to you, the ones you've known all your life, your neighbors, your friends. I was born in this city, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. That's why I wear the shield.
WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga.
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback. And take us along with you. As you all know, I have said that's my favorite commercial. and take us along with you. That simply means that if you go to the App Store, for those of you who have those fancy phones, you can download WHPR-TV-NOW, which translates to WHPR TV Now. And you will have it right on your fancy phone as you move around town or out of town. And you can hear this program, which comes on at 9 a.m. each and every Monday for an hour and a half. And we have guests on with us like Kimberly. And Miss Kimberly has indicated that she wants to speak more about education and the schools. You know, I don't know if you observed this particular news report, but a few weeks ago, there was a school on the east side that just got out of hand. And the principal was on the second floor of the school, and the security person was a first floor at the front door of the school. And some students decided that they wanted to attack the principal for whatever reason. He ended up in the hospital. Then the superintendent, which for some unknown reason that nobody on God's green earth can understand, fired the man. He's in the hospital. He fired him, saying that he didn't have his school under control, and that's why he fired him. And I just kept wondering, does this man have insurance? He's fired. He's in the hospital. So I thought that was very cruel. But they had another outbreak at the school, and there was an effort to try and cover it up by saying, "Oh, that was a food fight that got out of hand." No food fight I ever heard of had chairs and tables turned over and chairs thrown at people and folks getting their arm broken. Then on the west side of the city, there was another news report that the students got out of hand. Now, is there some thought that you might have on how this kind of outbreak is affected, and what do you think might be done to quell these out-of-hand students?
Well, I think it's a shame there's a lot of outbreaks happening at schools because, and they're blaming the principals, blaming the principals that it's their fault their school won't behave, but it's really the rectors and the school board's fault for not controlling the actual school. If just because the principal controls the school, there's more people higher than the principal that needs to get their school together and right. Like they should have people, like somehow they can fix that. Have people come into the school and talk to the students and tell them this is not right. You shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, it starts at the top. You heard that, didn't you? I agree.
That's a good one.
You have something to say before I say what I have to say? I definitely agree with you. And why I agree with you is because I reflect on the curriculum. That's all the classes that are established in each and every school, each and every class. Example. At one time, the Detroit Public School System taught driver's training. Okay. Now, I remember all of the students being so excited that they wouldn't dare get out of hand because they wanted to learn how to drive. They would come to school, they'd be excited. They said, I got to go out to the range. It's my turn. Oh, yes. And they were well behaved because they wanted to participate. They wanted to learn how to drive, and they were looking forward to getting their driver's license. That had an impact on the thought process of the students. Going on, I remember that there were classes like wood shop and electrical shop. And the students, oh, wow, I want to go to school and I want to carve a cane for my grandfather. Or I want to carve one of those clamps that ladies can put in their hair. Or somebody says, I want to carve a birdhouse. You know, there were a number of things that they could do, and they looked forward to do. They were excited. They could be creative, you know.
Yeah.
There was clothing design. As a matter of fact, I had a very good friend who designed a coat. It was a 3/4 length coat or jacket. And oddly enough, it ended up being a product sold at J.L. Hudson's department store. And we thought that was, hey, that looks familiar. Yeah, you know, so-and-so did this. Of course, she did not get the credit, but things happen like that where your patents are stolen by somebody else. We should say adopted, huh?
Well, yeah, they prefer that
way. Right. But they had that, and there were other classes. Now, as time went on, then music was curtailed, and sports was folks said, wait a minute, you're trying to take music out of the school, sports out of the school? They got real upset about that because there are scholarships involved. But not understanding that the classes that were included also helped the young students to get vocational training, introduction to vocational types of jobs.
You know, when you said that, Theo, and it made me reflect on my high school years, I remember there was a guy in our class, maybe 11th grade. His name was Anthony, and he had taken one of those. We can call them sewing classes, or we can call them tailoring. It's basically the same thing with maybe a little slight different emphasis. But I remember he designed his own clothes, and the thing that really got me is that, like, we're used to a pair of pants or slacks, trousers, whatever. He put pockets like maybe between the knee and the hip, just to add a little pocket on there, because he had that kind of skill in tailoring. He could come up with designs, as you said, like with the 3/4 length coat. And this is something that, because everyone doesn't have, and we said this before, everyone doesn't have an academic mind where they want to, like Kimberly was saying, getting into algebra. Well, when you start dealing with X plus Y and this and that, that's too abstract. Some of us like concrete things where we can just put our hands on it, use our imaginations, and be creative. I've made fruit bowls and ashtrays in my metal shop, in my wood shop classes, and it was a sense of pride for me to have taken, I had 3 different color pieces of wood, you glue them together, then you take your plane and you smooth it out, and you take your chisel and you chisel out the inside. I don't know whatever happened to that fruit bowl, but I was just proud to have been able to do that. And a lot of people are, everything that we see visually was created by someone's hands and someone's imagination. So to take these type of things out of schools and force children more into an academic role as opposed to broadening them, and one of the things, it's a word I've come to like over the years, is called being resourceful. And being resourceful means that you're able to see something and see a product or something that can come as a result of that, as opposed to, because academically, and I didn't do very well in algebra myself either, because it's too abstract, it's conceptual. You have to kind of see these figures. Now, Einstein and Stephen Hawking and some of these other people could see things in terms of numbers, but for me, that wasn't the case. I did enough to be able to make it, but I was never going to excel in that. So to your point about taking these programs out, and as well as the things that a lot of musicians, you can look at Donald Byrd from Detroit, taught at Wayne State University. He went on to be a worldwide international jazz figure, but it started with music in our junior high, I guess they call them middle schools now, and high school. So it's, and the last thing I want to say, Theo, when you were talking about the principle that got jumped on, and Kimberly may be familiar with this too, is that TikTok has a lot of challenges for people, and some of them are very ignorant. Some are like swallowing cinnamon, and then it causes you to kind of regurgitate it because your body is so dry, you get into like a coughing episode or spell or something. But TikTok has put up challenges, so they did put a challenge up for students to smack some school administrator, whether it was a teacher, principal, or whatever. And I'm sure in some part that's what those knuckleheads, because some will follow anything right over the cliff, they did, which is why that principal was probably attacked.
Wait a minute. Speaking of following somebody over the cliff, let me tell you, Donald Trump, if I have to mention his name, has been considering leaving the United States. Yay! Anyway, he's so concerned about his taxes being exposed. And he's saying, well, I could leave the United States and live someplace else. But wait now, if I do that, can I still run for president again? Can I come back and run for president? I'm like, oh, Lord, help us. And so I kept thinking, this man is getting worse and worse. He's having rallies. A rally here. Follow me. Come have a rally there. Don't wear a mask. Just come follow me. We want to have another rally. And I kept thinking, how dumb is that? How stupid is that? Because as he has people follow him, He also tells them, don't get a vaccination. Now, mind you, we're told he had one. His wife and whomever in his family, they did get a vaccination. But he's telling his followers, do not get a vaccination. Don't let them tell you what to do. Come to my rally. And I kept thinking, why is he trying to kill his supporters? The more people die from COVID-19 who are following him to his rallies, the fewer people left to vote for his dumb self.
Now, I'm going to add a footnote to that because I find that so interesting. Like you said, he's thinking about bailing, said, let me go to Paris or wherever they might take me, because a lot of people don't want him anyway. He don't know that. But once he tries to say, I'd like to live in Germany, well, Angela Merkel don't want him there. And I'm sure the guy in France don't want him because they had beef. So I don't know where he would go. But one of the things, like he's afraid of his taxes being exposed. And as you mentioned, his dumbness, ignorance, well, he didn't want his grades to be exposed either, because one of the teachers at Wharton, which is a top-notch business school in America, said that Donald was the dumbest student he had ever had. So not only does he try to hide his taxes, he didn't want nobody to know his grades either, because I'm sure he kind of paid off like this lady Laughlin and some of the other people. You paid them off to give you good grades just to get out, but it's not like you learned anything. It's just like me cheating on Kimberly's paper, and I get a good grade, she got a good grade, but when somebody asks me a question, dumbness comes out because I don't know nothing about it. So Dumb Donald, that's one of the characters from the Cosby Kids, the Dumb Donald. So I guess that was a prophecy of what we were to see.
Yes. And then what was so sad, dumb, disrespectful was when the Republican convention took place. He never mentioned one single word or syllable about Herman Cain. And I think most people remember Herman Cain was the millionaire who owned a chain of pizza parlors throughout Georgia. I don't know if he expanded out of Georgia, but he had a chain of pizza parlors in Georgia. And he was a staunch supporter of Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump had his rally in Oklahoma, Herman Cain got on his private plane and flew to Oklahoma. And of course, it was not long after that he had the virus, and it caused his death. And Donald Trump never said one word.
His loyalty is only to himself, and I would just add this footnote as well, that when John McCain passed away, before the man even had a proper burial, and he was respected on both sides of the aisle, Dumb Donald had the nerve to say, well, during one of his rallies, as a matter of fact, he says, I don't know if John's looking down on us or looking up to refer that he may be in hell. And he also said, well, I never really liked the man anyway. So while his family was grieving the loss of John McCain, Dumb Donald found it necessary to disparage him and, no respect at all. Sometimes, and we've heard this expression before, if you don't have anything good to say, it's best to be silent. Well, he can't be silent no matter what. I never thought him to be as much a problem as the people that follow him, because it's all right for me to be dumb, but if I get people dumber than me following me, I guess the term they use in politics is a demagogue. He runs his mouth a lot, but there's, James Brown talking loud, saying nothing. So now, since we're talking about politics, let me hold up again once more this ballot. Now, there are only 8 items on this ballot. You can do it in less than 5 minutes. Now, I don't know how, I think there's over 8,000 minutes in a day. I did the math on that one time before. This is just 8,000 minutes in a 24-hour day. All you need is 10 of those minutes. You still got over 8,000 minutes that you can do anything you want. Eat, sleep, gamble, whatever you want to do. But there's only 8 items on this ballot. And remember that as I demonstrate, there's one on the back also. And I think Theo said something that's really important, and I like this, Theo. You said there could be a trick to it because there's enough space on the front of this ballot. You didn't have to put it on the back of the ballot. I'm look at this ballot. There's enough space on here. You could have put all 3 proposals on here, along with the city council, police commissioner, clerk, council, and mayor. So so you have to be aware that these people are playing for keeps. We playing for fun, and they're playing for keeps.
Well, we have to be serious and understand that voter suppression is not only practiced by the systemic racists. Voter suppression is also practiced by our own people who seem to be in agreement with the systemic racists. And a racist person who comes up that refers to with policies to keep you from advancing. And those in our community who are working with them, thinking that it's going to help to push them further up the ladder, soon find that they're just being used over and over and over again. So you need to begin to monitor those who are working with the systemic racists. And remember that the syndicated media, and I refer to CBS, Fox 2, Channel 407, News and the Free Press as syndicated media. They spend a lot of time trying not to tell you about the positive things that are taking place in your community, about the positive people who are doing wonderful things in your community. And instead, they want to emphasize who killed who yesterday afternoon, who robbed who yesterday night, who kidnapped whom early yesterday morning. You know, they want to fill your mind and your day with a lot of negative news to make you want to run to them. You know, I want to live with you, Pastor. I can help you make things better. When we need to be understanding how we can make things better within our own community, and how we elect those who make very positive role models for the next generation.
And I want to add, and I emphasize this just as strongly as I can, these people work for you. You pay their salaries, and all the other little perks they get, that comes out of your tax money. So don't be afraid to, if you have somebody employed, and they are our employees, whether they want to know it or not, they're supposed to be public servants, and we are the public, so they should be serving us. It's important for you to get in their face. You can't be intimidated by somebody because of a title. And unfortunately, we've been dealing with that too long, where we end up thinking, well, this is council person so-and-so, this is clerk so-and-so, mayor so-and-so, and so we act as if they're unapproachable. They are not unapproachable. We must approach them. Emphasize that, look, we gave you the job and we can take the job away from you. Now, many times, I've seen this on just jobs I've worked on, people will, let me put it this way, a guy who I work with, he becomes a supervisor or a manager, whatever he may become, and he's more interested in the title than doing the job. Same thing with these politicians, more interested in having a title. Oh, yes, I represent so-and-so. No, you don't represent anything because of your title. So I'm just going to sum up with that. Let Theo have the last word because we're down to our last minute.
You know, It just doesn't take long. And you think when you start, an hour and a half. Oh, wow, hour and a half, that's a long time. It really isn't. But I want to thank all of you for tuning in each Monday morning at 9 o'clock and share the information with others. And I always like to say, it's not necessary for you to know everything. But what is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can find to share with you at each session and encourage you to share with us. Just like we had the information about the tax website, and we're going to follow up with that. And that is to help us all make better informed decisions. Beware of those who want to encourage us, say to vote no on the proposals. I say vote yes on R, vote yes on E, and vote yes on S. Encourage others to come out and go along with you to vote. That's important. See it as the presidential election. Our local city election is every bit of it as important as a presidential election. And take on that attitude and help us make a difference right here in our own community. We need to have a slamming landslide for tomorrow by 8 p.m. Beatty.
Yes, and as I always say, if you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished. Please go out and vote. Take your ballots to the Election Commission office on the Boulevard, which is diagonally opposite the Fisher Building. And I want to thank Shira for the information on the Coalition for Property Tax Justice.
And thank Kimberly for being our guest this morning. And we look forward to you coming back again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you all again for tuning in. Peace. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback.